You're listening to the Digital Barbell Podcast. Our mission is to provide you with a clear path to health and fitness through education, coaching, and accountability. We are your hosts, Jonathan and Blakely Fletcher, and we are here to serve you. If you like what we're doing, please subscribe to this podcast and leave us a 5-star review so that we can reach more people. You can find us daily on Instagram and Facebook at Digital Barbell. Now, let's get to today's topic. Hello, friends. We're coming to you this week from Houston, Texas, more specifically from Pearland, Texas, a southern suburb of Houston where Blakely's parents live.
Yeah, it's been fun to be down here visiting my family, playing with my niece / our goddaughter, having so much fun watching her grow up and getting to see everybody.
Yeah, it's been a whirlwind. We haven't really done any social things besides one really intense thing we did last weekend.
Yeah, we accomplished a major task. When I closed my gym about a year ago, I put everything in storage because I wasn't sure what the future was going to bring. And so since we were down here and everybody's hurting for equipment and I didn't want it to just sit there, I sold most of my gym equipment, and that was a whirlwind. It was obviously, it went fast. I, advertised it just to my old CrossFit members and the Digital Barbell members that live in Houston, and it was scooped up within a day. Met everybody there last Saturday, and it was done.
It was overwhelming, the response. It was like, okay, we have to cut this off because we have a lot of work to do. And
I spent from like 7 a.m. to about 7 p.m. just processing the orders of equipment for one day. And so,
yeah.
But I'm glad it all got to go to good homes and that it's going to be used. It was doing no good in a storage facility.
Yeah, it was just rusting in the Texas humidity.
Yeah.
Well, before we get into today's episode, I, of course, want to thank our sponsors. We got 2 sponsors this week. We're sponsored by Sunshine and Swimming Pools. We're lucky enough that Blakely's folks have a swimming pool, so we've been able to do our workouts outside, then jump right into the pool because it's savagely hot and humid here in Houston.
Yeah.
So that's been awesome.
That has been really nice.
Get to work on our suntan a little bit. But yeah, we do have a great episode for you today. This is actually an episode that we recorded probably a couple months ago now that we have kind of kept in the hopper. It's a nutrition related episode. Hope you guys enjoy it. So without any further ado, here's this week's episode. All right. On today's episode, we're going to talk about something not controversial, but I'm going to give you a little tough love. Because it's important, and it's a place where we see a lot of people go wrong.
Yeah, it's a simple topic, but maybe not easy to hear.
Yeah. It's about when you have the desire to get healthy and to improve your fitness, to change your body composition, to lose fat, to look a certain way, but you're ignoring your nutrition. You've done essentially half of the work. You're going to the gym. You're putting in the work in the gym, you're exercising, maybe you're restricting certain foods sometimes, but you're not really putting in the work into changing your nutrition. So
it takes work.
You ever seen this before, or is it just me?
I've seen it.
So what's the deal? Like, I would say about 80% of what you look like is what you eat, as far as like how it affects you.
I think that's a shocking number for some people to hear.
Yeah, it is. But
I think a lot of people think it's 80% of what you do in the gym.
Right. And I think the reason people think that is because the going to the gym thing is actually the easier part to do. Mm-hmm. So people think, well, if I put in that effort in the gym, it's going to make me look a certain way. But actually the hard part is doing the nutrition part.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, that's what leads to most of the results that we're talking about.
Yeah. I mean, even owning a gym, I would tell people, like, I love that you come here, but most of the work you're doing is at home.
Yeah. You're coming in here and you're killing yourself 5-6 days a week, and you're not making any progress because you're undoing all the work that you're doing in here by the food that you're putting in your mouth. So what we're talking about is paying attention to your nutrition, and more specifically taking control of your nutrition. So anything in life, if you want to take control of something, you have to take the control away from whoever actually you're giving the control to. Mm-hmm. So when we talk about nutrition, that means taking control of the food that you're putting in your mouth by actually having good options available to you versus giving control of your food to the restaurants that are preparing the food for you, or the prepackaged food that was made somewhere else, mm-hmm. or by just thinking that you have to eat food that was made by somebody else, mm-hmm. regardless of what's in it. So that's how we take control, is we take it away from the people we're giving it to and we put it into our own control. So that doesn't mean that you can never give the control to somebody else. You can never go to a restaurant. Right. You can never eat a prepared food. We're talking about changing your overall habits to where that's not normal for you to go do that. So mm-hmm. if you just mindlessly stop at a restaurant or a fast food place every day because you don't have any other option available, or if it's just a habit for you, then that's what we're talking about getting away from. Yeah. It's more about making those restaurant visits like a more enjoyable, memorable experience.
For what it's meant to be for, like going and having a sit down special occasion, not just special occasion, but a moment with somebody, a group of friends, a significant other, whatever. If you're stopping at a restaurant, bringing the food home, sitting in front of the TV, to me that's a waste of a restaurant meal.
Yeah.
Like, you're not experiencing the whole thing of what a restaurant is for, mm-hmm. and you're wasting that restaurant meal just sitting in front of the TV and mindlessly eating it.
Yeah, that's a good way to think of it. I think is like it's almost like a wasted opportunity to enjoy this occasion with somebody else. So this is a sacrifice, let's be honest. It's a habit change, but it's also a sacrifice because time is a limited resource for everybody. And we're talking about using your time to take back the control and be more prepared. So we're not sitting here saying that this is going to be easy, but at the same time, if you're telling us that this is a goal you have, then you should also expect that it's not going to be easy and it's going to require some sacrifice. Yeah. Anything that gives you a reward is going to take some sacrifice or effort on your part. Yeah. So I just want to go into this acknowledging that I realize it's not easy, but mm-hmm. you have to decide if you want to do it or not. If you don't want to do it, don't do it. But if it's important to you and you're frustrated, then this is what you have to do.
Right. So what are we talking about we have to do?
Right. So, and let me just say like how this kind of came in our own life. Like we were never like huge restaurant people, but it wasn't uncommon for us to have maybe 3 restaurant meals per week, or maybe more than that when you think about lunches. Like
for sure, lunches.
Yeah, just stop and get a lunch. Like that's why fast food places are out there. I mean, even fast food like healthy places like Potbelly or Subway. I'm just getting a sandwich, Like
I think, and like you said, I think that's a very common way. Like people leave their house knowing they're not going to return until dinner time, and they leave their house with nothing, with no food, with no snacks, with nothing, and that's one like you're expecting to get all your food on the outside.
That was me for sure,
and that's a very normal way to live.
So like we never made a conscious decision to like stop doing this. Like really, it was kind of just an evolution over time because we started to see the results that I talked about at the beginning of this by taking more of the control back for ourselves. So, maybe we went down to eating at restaurants like twice a week. We would go out for like a burger on a Friday night, and then maybe a couple lunches here or there. And then like over time that became less frequent because we enjoyed the way we felt and the way we looked and performed, and we were having more control over our own food. So it just gradually changed.
And I think it's very similar to like when you start going to the gym. It's hard to start going to the gym. You're not like, you might think about it for a month before you actually even step in the door. But so you go and then you're like, oh, that was awful. I'm never doing that again. And you go again and you go again. And then soon enough, like you're starting to feel the benefits of going to the gym. And you're like, I want to go to the gym. Like you make that switch in your brain. It's the same thing as this. Like you don't purposely set out to be like, I'm going to eat a certain way or do this for my nutrition. Like you make one little change and you're like, oh, I really miss whatever I was doing, but I've made this change. And then you make another change and you're slugging through it for a little bit, and then you start to feel the difference. And then this lightning bolt goes off in your head and you're almost like turning, I don't want to go back to how I was because I feel so good right now. that I'm not going to go back down that road, and you just make better and better choices
Yeah.
as you go down.
Yeah, I was messaging with one of our clients this morning in True Coach, referencing an article or a post that we made. Basically, the point of it was that you've been hungover your whole life,
Yeah.
and you didn't even know it. And I'm not even talking about a hangover from alcohol.
Right.
It's more the cumulative effect of how you feel every day because you're putting this garbage food in your body. Like, you get to the point where you just realize, you just think to yourself, well, this must be what it feels like
So be alive.
to be alive. But
Yeah,
when you get past that, and when you slowly start taking more control over your nutrition and the food that you eat,
yeah.
that feeling goes away and you feel like a different person as far as energy and recovery and your attitude and your sleep. So there's a benefit in doing all this. So,
Sure.
so what the heck does it even mean to take control? Well, it means really preparing food, preparing meals, being prepared for situations like Blakely said, when you leave the house. Now, you can take this as far as you want. There's an extreme way to do everything and there's a moderate way to do everything. So let's kind of talk about, the spectrum of that. It doesn't necessarily have to be something that takes over your life. You've probably seen those like bodybuilders that on Sunday cook for 3 hours in the kitchen. They have a million plastic containers. Everything is weighed out, and like you open the fridge and they're just like right.
Meal 1, meal 2, meal 3, day 1, meal 1, meal 2, meal 3, day 2.
Yeah, that's one extreme,
for sure,
and that's not realistic for us to do, and that's not part of our lifestyle. Which is really the most important part, is that you don't try to do something unsustainable that doesn't fit your lifestyle.
Yeah. It's
more of a process of learning how can you implement the ideas of being prepared into your own lifestyle so that it's sustainable.
Yeah.
For us, it kind of falls somewhere in between, where what works for us is to bulk prepare, 1 or 2 sources of protein. We plan on doing it a couple times a week because food just doesn't keep that long in the refrigerator.
Mm-hmm.
Like, 4 days of meat sitting
twice
in
a week.
So yeah, plan on doing it twice a week. So a couple sources of protein, a couple sources of carbs like rice or potatoes or vegetables, and
pre-chopping a bunch of vegetables,
right,
so that you can put it together any way.
Right. So have the base ingredients bulk prepared, and then you can, if you're going out for the day or you have an office job, you pack that lunch and you take it with you for that day. But you already have the ingredients together. You're not like scrambling to cook a meal.
Yeah.
And think about like, is there any like bulk meals that you can make also, like stews or chilies or stuff like that you can make 2 or 3 days worth at a time.
Yeah.
And again, it's not to force you into like being some kind of meal prepper. It's so that you have good options available with the food that you had control over the ingredients. So, if you're somebody who's weighing and measuring all of your food because you have specific calorie or macro goals, or maybe you're further to the side of the spectrum where you're, using the pre-made containers where you're weighing everything ahead of time. But if you're just trying to maintain overall health and lose body fat and stay, feeling good, then maybe you can skew more the direction that we are as far as having the bulk ingredients prepared.
Let's talk about so let's take 2 meals and let's take the same meal and compare it at a restaurant. Like, say I want to have like chicken, rice, and a side salad. I make it myself. I put 4 ounces of chicken. I put 75 grams of rice. These are just eyeballed. And then I put my big giant salad, loaded with the veggies with the dressing I like. That's how I make my meal. Say I'm like, I'll just go to a restaurant and order that meal. My favorite restaurant or whatever. Like, what's the difference going to be?
At least 40% more calories in the prepared meal.
It's probably not going to be as much chicken as I would have selected for myself. It's going to be probably like 3 times as much rice that I would have put on my plate. And the salad, the side salad would be probably loaded with a much higher fat, like oil-based dressing than I would have at home. So again, like, it's just like taking like the idea of like, okay, if I took control of this meal, I could have the same essential meal, but like prepared the way I know that it's prepared, not the way I think it's prepared.
Yeah. And the bottom line with that really is, like she said, the decreased amount of protein in the serving at the restaurant and just the total overall calories. I mean, the thing that moves the needle the most for ourselves and for 99% of our clients is just the total number of calories that they're consuming. most people are consuming a lot more calories than they need, especially if their goal is fat loss. So taking control of your food gives you an easy way to monitor how many calories you're eating.
Yeah, and benefit. I mean, I like to eat food, and you can eat way more food if you're eating less calories. And if you're expending 1,000 calories on one meal just because it came from a restaurant, that's a big chunk of your day. But if you're making that same meal and you're like, well, that was only a 500 calorie meal, like, boom.
So
snacks.
I think like a good rule of thumb is to try to have control over at least 80% of your own food. It's not a magic number, but none of this is. It's more about like, what is your habit over time, because that's going to lead to consistency, which will lead to results. If it's the infrequent occasion that you go out with friends and have 1,000 or 2,000 calorie meal, it's not going to derail your progress. But if you're doing that 3-4 times a week, like most people are, I think 60% of people eat out once a week at least, and then 20% of people eat out more than 3 times per week. So if that's the norm for you, then you're over consuming a lot. So I think that 80-20 rule is fair for most people. And if you want to get really serious, and if you want to have a more positive impact on your health in a shorter amount of time, then skew towards even more than 80% having control. So, I said at the beginning of this that we're going to be real. So let's talk about what some of the common complaints are to this preparing ahead of time thing. So probably the most thing is people say, I don't have time. So
I don't have time.
Who has extra time? We don't have any extra time. Honestly, we barely get done the things that we want to get done working 50 hours a week. So nobody has extra time. Nobody's got extra time. You just have to audit your own life, look at where you're wasting time, and then decide, is your priority to improve in this area, or is your priority to continue wasting time on those things? That's the bottom line. Always comes down to priorities. And sorry if that sounds like tough love, but if you're telling me that this is a goal of yours and you're not willing to put it as a priority and make the time for it, then I just don't believe you that it's a priority. So ain't nobody got extra time. You have to make time. Is that true?
That's true.
All right. I don't want to speak anything that's not true. There's busy people out there accomplishing amazing things in all aspects of life. They're all busy people.
Yeah.
Everybody's busy.
Everybody's busy.
Right. Okay. Another common one is people say that they need to eat something different every day. They need variety. Okay. Well, if you have unlimited time and unlimited money and unlimited resources, then you deserve all the variety in your diet in the world.
But you're not,
dream up the most extravagant menu and recipe that you want with the 50 different ingredients. But all those things take time, money, and the resources.
And you're not going to have the main thing, which is the control. If you have to have a different menu every day, you're not going to have any control,
Right.
So
are we saying that you have to eat chicken, rice, and broccoli 3 meals a day every day? No. Build yourself a sample menu, that of a couple different things that you like, and rotate that every couple weeks.
Yeah, so that's having, we were saying, having the 2 protein sources. That gives us a variety of protein sources to choose from throughout the week. And then with those protein sources and those extra carb sources and all the chopped veggies, you can make a variety of meals. You can make a taco. Tacos one night, you can make a salad one night, you can make a soup with it. You can make a variety of meals, but you have the base ingredients to work with, and you can have a different protein source for lunch than you're having for dinner if you make multiple sources.
Yeah, and you can use things like sauces and seasonings to change the flavor profile of the meal.
Make it anything,
Yeah, what's the difference between Italian food and Mexican food? There's a protein, a carb, and a fat, and a sauce. They're just arranged differently with different flavor profiles.
Right.
So you can still have some variety, but you need to be realistic about how much time you have to have variety. So
the real bottom line is, it doesn't have to be boring. It doesn't have to be the same meal, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. It just allows you to have that preparation. And then within that preparation, play with it, do whatever you want with it, make the variety.
Yeah. And if you have to put it in black and white terms, you tell me, you decide, do you want to have unlimited variety, or do you want to have results? So what's your priority? So another one that we hear sometimes is that people can't cook. Taking control of your food and making a lot of most of your own food can lead to you having to cook. Now, there's a lot of products out there now that can keep you from cooking. You know, frozen. There's even like frozen rice that you can microwave now, and there's pre-cooked fajita chicken. So there's tons of options out there if you can't cook. But the bigger picture is, what if you came to me and said, like, I don't know how to drive. You know, you're an adult. I don't know how to drive. I guess I'm just not going to go anywhere, and I'm going to rely on public transportation for my whole life, and I'm going to be hamstrung by the fact that I can't drive, and I'm going to rely on other people. No, you wouldn't do that. You would learn how to drive. Like, go take a driving lesson. Get on YouTube.
You want someone on YouTube learning to drive.
Well, I guess you could go to YouTube for the cooking lessons.
I got my license on YouTube.
So I don't see honestly, like, we're not good cooks. We're not. I do the cooking, but I'm not a good cook. I've just figured out certain things that I can make that fit our lifestyle, and like
we're not we're not in the chef category.
Right, we're not chefs, and like we don't have unlimited time to do, you know.
It stopped.
Stop recording.
Just keep going.
Cut. Yeah, so we're
not in the chef category.
Yeah, we're not chefs. Like, we don't have unlimited time and to try all these recipes online and stuff like that. So I don't buy the I can't cook excuse. Like, buy pre-made stuff. You know, rely on a meal prep company like. Well, I won't use any names because they're all local, but you know, like, you know, rely on those while you learn to cook. I mean, you would go broke trying to rely on those forever. So
but it can also give you some ideas. And these days in grocery stores, they have like that section of just like take home and heat and like they're, you know, stuff like that. But again, you're starting to rely on other people's preparation, which is going to have extra stuff in it.
Right.
You know, it's just like that rule of thumb. But it's a good way to start. Give yourself options, and then go ahead and get into like the cooking of the bulk meats and carbs and stuff. Yeah,
we could buy those meals, read the ingredients, and try to copy them.
I mean, we have like we're like the simplest. We're on the simple scale of how we eat.
But I mean, all of our food that we eat tastes good. So I'm not.
We served it to others, and they didn't.
Yeah, that's right. People will leave here and they're like
asking for recipes.
What do you put in this
oatmeal? Salt.
It's just salt. Oh wow, never heard of it. All right, so let's just kind of recap here.
All right.
If you first of all, you got to decide if you're serious about this. Are you tired of putting in the effort in the gym and never seeing any physical results? Mm-hmm. If you are, it's the nutrition you need to pay attention to. If you're not willing to, that's fine. Acknowledge it. But if you are willing to, then get serious and stop making excuses like the ones that we just talked about, because this is the missing piece. It's the foundation of all this stuff that we do in life is the food that we put in our body. As hard as it is to control food, that is the missing piece.
Yeah.
Preparation is the next tier underneath taking control. Not being prepared will leave you out in the world to stop at fast food, to stop at gas stations, to get home and be like, what are we having for dinner? I don't know. You want to order Mexican? So being prepared helps eliminate those things. Not that it can never happen, but it makes it the rare occasion. And stop eating out in restaurants so much. Start taking control of your food. Start making protein sources, carb sources, and mix and match to meet your variety needs, you know, to keep you happy. And this is something that you get better at over time, just like anything. Like, you know, what used to take you maybe an hour of preparation, maybe you can do it in 45 minutes with some practice, and you'll find ways to save time, and you'll find recipes that you like that don't take as much time. It's just like anything. You get more efficient at it the longer you do it. And then another way this can help you is as you fuel your body properly with food that you make at home, it makes it more likely that when you're out in a restaurant, you recognize something like, okay, that's probably closer to what I would make at home.
Yeah.
And then when they bring it out to you, you'll have a better idea if the portion that they gave you is appropriate or not. Like Blakely said, it's not uncommon for portions to be 2 or 3 times larger at a restaurant than
it seems like it's skewed to like the carb sources and smaller on the protein side.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, carbs and fat for sure. Because, you know, there's so many hidden calories in restaurant food that just slowing down on the restaurants, pulling them out of your
Yeah.
overall routine can save you enough calories to start to help you lose fat. So
like one point is like our clients who are logging their food, we tell them like to add a tablespoon of butter for every meal they eat out. Just like they don't see it, it's a hidden but that just shows you how much like hidden fats are in meals. Like
something comes out at a restaurant and it's shiny, those are calories. Those are calories that you're looking at. So
flavor.
Yes, the flavor. Butter adds flavor. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this one. Wasn't meant to be an attack on anybody, but it's made a difference for us. It's made a difference in the life of our clients. And if you're tired of wasting time, then start to take control of your nutrition. We do nutrition coaching also. We guide people through this process. If that's something that you're interested in, just send us a message and we'll talk about working with you. Have a great day. Thank you all for listening. We truly appreciate it. But real quick, before we go, do us a personal favor and subscribe to the podcast. Leave us a 5-star review and be sure and follow us on Instagram and Facebook for the latest and greatest content. If you're interested in working with Blakely and I, we have a few different ways we can help. We offer one-on-one nutrition coaching, 100% custom workout programs based on your goals, and we offer both a 12-week barbell strength building program called Built, as well as a 12-week full-body fitness program that can be done at home, we call Body. Get all the details and reach out to us through the website at digitalbarbell.com. Have a great day.